Good morning, class 6. We start with a new chapter, chapter 5, separation of substances. When do we separate a substance? When two or more substances are mixed together, then we need to separate a substance. This substance, which has got two or more components mixed together, is called a mixture. A mixture can be of different types. A solid mixture, for example, stainless steel. The stainless steel is a mixture of iron, carbon, nickel, chromium, etc. You can also have a solid liquid mixture like salt in water or sugar in water. You can have a liquid mixture. For example, the sanitizers that you use. It's a mixture of alcohol and water. You may also have a liquid and gas mixture, like the soft drinks that you drink, the colas, the Sprite, etc. Then you can also have a gas mixture, a mixture of many gases like air. A mixture can be homogeneous. When the mixture is mixed, the components are mixed so well that you have them distributed evenly. Then we call it as a homogeneous mixture. If the components are just mixed randomly and it is not uniform, then we call this mixture as a heterogeneous mixture. The second question arises, why do we separate these substances? Why do we need to separate the substances from a mixture? There could be three possible reasons. Number one, to remove unwanted or harmful substance. For example, stone from rice. The second reason is to remove a useful substance. For example, salt from seawater. The third reason could be two or more useful substances are present in a mixture and I want to use them separately. For example, butter, cream, milk is mixed inside the milk and I want to use them separately, so I separate them and use them separately. So these are the three reasons why separation of substances can take place. Now let us move on to the actual methods of separation or modes of separation. First, the solids. First picture that you see is that of hand picking. As I told you, if the components of the mixture, the substances in a mixture are different in shapes and sizes, we can see them clearly. And one substance is very less in amount, then we can use our hand to separate it. We call this as hand picking. The second picture shows you winnowing. You must have seen this in villages. When two components are of different weights, one is light and one is heavy, then we can use the wind. With the help of wind, we can separate two substances. This process is called as winnowing. Here in this picture, grain is being separated from the husk with the help of wind. This slide over here shows a few more methods of solid-solid separation. For example, this is threshing. The first picture shows threshing, where the grains are separated from the stalk. The farmer beats them on a solid piece of rock or some other hard substance and they get separated. This process is called as threshing. The next picture shows you another method of separation, which is called as sieving. In this process, two components of a mixture which have different sizes are separated with the help of a sieve. So when you put the mixture on a sieve, the substance or the component which is smaller in size falls through the sieve and is collected on a plate below, and the component which is slightly bigger is left on the sieve. Your mother uses this method to remove insects from the flour, And this method is also used to remove stones from the sand. The next picture shows separation of a solid from a liquid. And the first picture shows sedimentation and decantation. How will you separate mud from water? Okay, what do? You collect the muddy water and leave it for few minutes so that all the mud settles down at the bottom. This layer of mud is called as sediment and the water above is called as the supernatant. After leaving for some time, this supernatant or the water above is then slowly poured into another vessel without disturbing the sediment. This process is called as sedimentation. Sedimentation and decantation are always done together. But if this process is also not useful to remove the mud completely, we go for the next process. We call this as filtration. We use a filter. In this case, in the picture shown above, we have used a filter paper. So we have taken a glass funnel, we have folded the filter paper in a cone and poured the muddy water. What happens? The clear water passes through the filter paper and is collected in the beaker below. And the mud or the residue or the sediment is left behind on the filter paper. And this process is called as filtration. Your mother daily will filter the tea leaves using a tea filter to remove the tea leaves from the tea. If we want a pure substance, a pure liquid from a mixture, suppose we have salt water and I require pure water from this mixture, what do? I boil this. When I boil the water, what will I get? I'll get vapors. If I cool this, then what I get? I get only pure water. This process is called as distillation. So remember, in distillation, we boil a liquid, get its vapor and then condense it to get pure liquid. This is called as distillation. This picture shows evaporation and condensation in day-to-day lives. This is what happens when mummy boils water for tea. Okay, steam comes out and suppose she puts the lid, switches off the gas and goes out of the kitchen. After 10 minutes when she removes the lid, what do you see? You see droplets of water. So, evaporation followed by condensation. The same evaporation process is also used to get salt from seawater. Let us understand this process in little bit of detail. Small channels of seawater are dug and seawater is collected on the beach. This water is then left to evaporate. As the seawater keeps evaporating, salt crystals begin to form. These shallow field-like structures on the beaches are called as salt pans. Once all the water is evaporated, the salt is then cleaned, purified and sold to you. So this is how we get salt from seawater by the process of evaporation. The next picture also shows some methods of separation in liquids. The first picture, look at the first picture. You see a separating funnel, a funny looking funnel, a different looking funnel. We call this as separating funnel. This funnel is useful to separate two liquids which do not mix with each other. We call these liquids as immiscible liquids. For example, oil and water. If you have oil and water got accidentally mixed up, how will you separate it? We pour the mixture in a separating funnel. And the oil being lighter will float, but water will be down. There is a small screw-like structure at the bottom, and when you open it, the water keeps falling down and is collected in the beaker below. We continue this process till all the water is separated, leaving behind the oil in the separating funnel. The next picture shows you another method of separation among liquid and liquid, and we call this as fractional distillation. This method is most useful to get different types of products from crude oil or petroleum. What is the basis of this? The basis is different components have different points or different temperatures at which they become vapor. This is the basis of separation. Okay, so at very soon you will get gas, then you will get petrol, then you will get aviation fuel, then you will get diesel, and at the end you will get coal tar. The next slide shows you what you call it as a saturated solution. Let us first understand. You can see a beaker there holding water. So any liquid in which something can dissolve is called as a solvent. Water is called a universal solvent because it can dissolve so many things inside it. So remember, any liquid which is able to dissolve a substance in it is called a solvent. The solid, the substance that dissolves in this liquid or solvent is called as a solute. For example, the salt or the sugar that you're going to pour inside the solvent is called a solute. And when the salt, the solute and the solvent mix, what do you get? A solution. So a solution is solute plus solvent. So can I keep on adding sugar to this water? Will it keep on dissolving? Yes, you are right. After some time it won't dissolve. So the point where the water cannot take any more solute, we call this as a saturated solution. Right? So these are some of the methods of separation. Hope you understood the lesson.